Kathy West. We have put together a video showing you a variety of over 60 different animated talking toys from a collection of over 1,500. We also have a segment on minor repairs and some buying and selling tips.
If you do have any further questions about talking animated toys, there are two ways to communicate with us. You can always pick up the phone and call, or what you can do is write to us. We do prefer that you take the time and jot down your questions and mail them out to us. We receive probably 15 to 20 phone calls a day, if not more. It is truly so very hard for us to return every single phone call. Please go ahead and take the time to write down
Grubby really is a good friend. Hello, they're standing here, you know. They're filling up the bedroom's tight little sheet. They wish that you would count them so they could go to sleep. So close your eyes. It's later than it seems. Close your eyes. It's time for us to dream. We'll drift off to
to a little friend of mine, Hector. Oh, now you remember Hector, don't you, dear? You met him in the story of the Ugly Duckling.
Yeah, and I like that a lot. It was fun.
Well, now that we're all together again, I'd like to tell you a nursery rhyme.
Is it okay if I look for my baseball cap first? I think I lost it.
You have? Oh, well then, let me tell you this nursery rhyme. I think it just may help you find it. This nursery rhyme is called The Three Little Kittens. Then you'll find out how Hector meets the kittens and helps them solve their problems. Now, let's begin. The three little kittens lost their mittens, and they began to cry. Oh, mother dear, we sadly fear our mittens we have lost. What? Lost your mittens? You naughty kittens. Then you shall have no pie. Meow, meow, meow. Then you shall have no pie. The three little kittens found their mittens, and they began to cry. Oh, mother dear, see here, our mittens we have found. What? Found your mittens? Oh, you good little kittens, then you shall have some pie. Purr, 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 then you shall have some pie.
Did you turn the page?
Very good, Hector.
Thank you, Mommy Goose. Is it okay if I call you Mommy Goose? I like that.
Well, of course, Hector.
Mommy Goose, it's not fun to lose something, is it?
Well, no, dear, it's not. But it's a good idea to remember that when you do lose something, stop and think through everything you did that day. If you do, you just might find it.
That's a good idea.
Hector wanted to know where the three little kittens lost their mittens, and he wanted to know how they found them. So Hector began to look for the kittens.
Let me think. Where would three little kittens be? Hey, I got it. Kittens like to hide. I better look everywhere.
Hector looked all around, under a bush.
Is it?
No!
Well, then do you suppose that maybe you took your mittens off when you started climbing? Where did you start?
The kittens remembered
It looks like a blanket.
it was a blanket, a quilt to be exact. And into the quilt were sewn all sorts of things out from the oak tree. She was making a patchwork quilt for her children.
That's my baseball cap. It's under my nest.
Oh, Hector, I'm very proud of you.
Mommy Goose,
Yes, Hector.
could I have some pie too?
Well, of course, dear.
I love you, Mommy Goose.
I love you too, Hector. And I love you too, dear. Hello, dear. How are you? Oh, are you a little sleepy? Well, I know some lovely lullabies that just might help you go to sleep. Listen, dear. I'll sing you a goodbye lullaby song, for nighttime will be here before very long. Tomorrow will keep, it's time now to sleep, and I'll sing you this rockabye song.
Oh, rock-a-bye, snuggle-tight, lullaby, say goodnight, rock-a-bye, lullaby, soon. I'll hum a rock-a-bye, lullaby tune. The stars have come out now, and look, there's the moon. Now pillow your head as you nestle in bed, while I hum you this lullaby tune. Oh, rock-a-bye, snuggle-tight, lullaby, say goodnight, rock-a-bye, lullaby tune. Oh, that's delightful. Lullaby, lullaby. Now the world flows to stillness at the end of the day, and the sun loses fullness, slipping slowly away. As the sky changes color, it is now the time Mr. Nightfall will come once again. Oh, look, dear. There's the evening star. Mr. Nightfall is on his way. Mr. Nightfall always sails out on the rosy blue sky. With his star-sparkled turret and toward the sunset he flies. There'll be sweet dreams for children in the sleep of their eyes. Mr. Nightfall has come once again. Why have all the birds
Custom-made electric displays where you simply press the button. The button.
It's a band, Mickey, and they're playing your song.
My song? How can you tell?
Gosh, that's easy. Listen. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E.
Hey, what spells my name? Mickey Mouse. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E.
Mickey Mouse.
Well, what do you know?
Mickey Mouse.
Ah, shucks.
You see, Mickey, it is your song. Come along and sing the song and join the jamboree. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. We'll have fun.
We'll meet new faces.
We'll do things.
And we'll go places.
Oh, boy, Mick, I can hardly wait to go.
Okay, Goofy, it won't be long now.
Come on, everybody, join in. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E.
Well, I guess you know by now that my name is Mickey Mouse. And this is my friend Goofy. Say hello, Goofy.
Hello, Goofy. I mean, hello there, everybody.
You know, Goofy and I travel all over the world together, and sometimes we take a friend. Would you like to come along?
Yup, the more the merrier.
We're really excited about taking you on our adventures. It's easy to do. My special animation cassettes bring me to life, and away we go.
Hey, Mick, what about me? I operate by using the same cassette tapes that make you work. I plug into you with my special animation cord, and then I come to life too.
That's right. And not only that, each new book and tape takes us to a different place, like Italy, Africa, and even Japan.
Wow! I can't wait.
We even have special costumes for all the different roles we play.
Gosh, Mick, you might say that we dress for all occasions.
You know, Goofy, we'll meet lots of interesting characters when we visit all these places.
We can have fun, too.
Well, that's about all the time we have for this performance, boys and girls.
Gosh, I was just beginning to have fun.
Say goodbye for now, Goofy.
Goodbye for now, Goofy. I mean, goodbye, everybody.
Well, now it's time to say goodbye to all our company.
M-I-C. See ya real soon.
K-E-Y. Why? Because we like you. M-O-U-S-E. So long.
Bye-bye. See ya next time.
How can you tell?
Gosh, that's easy. Listen. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E.
Hey, that spells my name, Mickey Mouse. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E.
You see, Mickey? It is your song. Come along and sing the song and join the jamboree. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. We'll have fun.
We'll meet new faces. I know that my name is Mickey Mouse, and this is my friend Goofy. Say hello, Goofy.
Hello, Goofy. I mean, hello there, everybody.
You know,
I mean, goodbye, everybody.
well, now it's time to say goodbye to all our company.
M-I-C. See ya real soon.
K-E-Y. Why? Because we like you. M-O-U-S-E. So long.
Bye-bye. See ya next time.
Here is another example of an electrical display where you simply press the button to start. We still have a few of these original store displays available if you wish to purchase one. Please note Woodstock is not included. Button, button, push.
Hi, my name is Snoopy. How are you today? I'll bet you're surprised to hear me talk, aren't you? I'm a little surprised myself. For a long time, I've been sharing all of my thoughts with you. And now, thanks to something called animation technology, I can talk to you. And sing, too. I'm very excited. So is my friend Woodstock. Say hello to our new friends, Woodstock. I love it when he does that. Woodstock is what they call a hand-animated toy. You just give his sides a little squeeze, and he blinks his eyes, bobs his head, flaps his wings, and lets out a merry chirp. Let's tell him a little bit more about us, okay, Woodstock? Two fish in the sea. No funnier fish two fellas could be. We're peas in a pod, two of a kind. Fish in the sea and grapes on the vine. And if you listen for just a little while, we'll do anything to make you smile. Anything to make you smile. You probably noticed that I'm moving my eyes, nose, and mouth while I'm talking. And when I get real excited, I can wiggle my ears too, like this. See? The way I work is sort of the way large animated figures in amusement parks work. A specially programmed animation cassette brings me to life. Amazing, isn't it? What will they think of next? Here comes Charlie Brown. You know, the round-headed kid who feeds me.
Hello, Snoopy. Hello, Woodstock. Good grief. I still can't believe that I can talk to you.
That's right, Charlie Brown. And the same animation cassette that makes me talk can make you talk and sing too.
Yes, I come with what is called an animation cord that connects me to you. And when you come to life, so do I. It is so great to be able to talk and sing with you, Snoopy, my best friend in the whole world.
Oh, Snoopy, I will be his friend.
Make the world so
To
pure.
the end.
Hold you and I'm sure that you'll be our one and only Snoopy for me.
Charlie Brown and I have lots of stories to tell you about the gang. Hey, here they come now.
Hiya, Snoop. Hello, Chuck. You sly dog, you.
Hello, Peppermint Patty.
Hello, you stupid beagle.
Hello, Lucy.
Hello, Snoopy. Hello, Charlie Brown.
Hello, Linus.
Hello, Linus. Nice to see you.
Hi, Big Brother.
Hi, Sally.
That's right. They're all here. Lucy, Linus, Sally, Peppermint Patty. Even my brother Spike comes to visit from the desert.
We have all sorts of fun things to share with you, and great songs to sing with you, too.
Yeah, like my birthday party, our camping trip, and the time we all went to the beach.
Don't forget about the baseball game. Good grief. Is it baseball season already?
You know, I think the best part about being able to talk is that now we can talk to children everywhere. And that means making new friends. I like that.
Friends, 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 we'll always be friends.
No matter what happens to us till the end,
We'll always be friends.
we're just two of a kind, with just one purpose in mind. We'll sing you a song or shuffle along. We'll do anything to make you smile. We're two peas in a pod. When we're done, we hope you'll applaud. We'll tell you a tale and never fail. We'll do anything to make you smile. You gotta erase any doubt. If you open your heart, a giggle will start to come out. We're two fish in the sea. No funnier fish two fellas could be. We're peas in a pod, two of a kind. Fish in the sea and grapes on the vine. And if you listen for just a little while, we'll do anything to make you smile. Anything to make you smile. We're two fish in the sea. No funnier fish two fellas could be. We're peas in a pod, two of a kind. Fish in the sea and grapes on the vine. And if you listen for just a little while, we'll do anything to make you smile. Anything to make you smile. You've probably noticed that I'm moving my eyes, nose, and...
Here's another electrical display where you simply press the button.
Now with Ideal's new Story Magic Talking Toys, you can watch your favorite Sesame Street characters come alive in your own home.
Abkadabky, gentlemen, up for Tee Ruxpin. If I ever find out just what this word can mean, I'll be the smartest bird the world has ever seen.
See, it's no cookie, that's good enough for me. Oh, cookie, 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 double C.
If there's anything I love more than salt and tangerines, it's saying no, no, no.
Big Bird, Cookie Monster, and Oscar the Grouch talk in their own authentic voices as they entertain kids and parents alike.
The person knocking at Oscar's can looked like a furry blue guy smiling. When Oscar raised his lid, the furry blue guy
kids to operate. Just connect Oscar the Grouch and Cookie Monster to Big Bird, insert a Story Magic cassette, and the fun begins. There are lots of Story Magic books and cassettes available, so you can have Sesame Street fun anytime you want.
Cowabunga!
And I love saying no. Imagine that. Lee looks orange and Philly looks purple, but their chirp will still sound the same. 'Cause colors don't matter, forget all the chatter. Friendship's the name of the game. Yes, friendship's the name of the game. By now, I knew there were so many beautiful colors that I could never be sure of my real favorite. It was getting late and time for us to go home when Oscar found another color. Look up in the sky. There's a big gray cloud, my favorite kind. I hope it means it's going to rain, he said. We had better hurry, I said to the birds of a feather club. But we did not hurry fast enough. Splish, splash, drippity drop. Down came the rain.
Look, Maxwell not blue now, and Buddy not green. Becca not red, Holly not orange, and Billy not purple. They are yellow again,
said Cookie Monster. We were 7 very wet but very yellow birds again. It did not rain very long, and soon there was a beautiful rainbow in the sky. We are sure to get our Know Your Colors badges now, said Little Bird, and we all painted a picture of the rainbow. It had been a wonderful day, but now it was time for us to go home. That night, Little Bird and I painted one more picture. We painted a picture of the black night sky, filled with silvery stars and one beautiful golden moon. Look around and see the beauty of the sky, and then ask yourself why such things are special. Can it be that the colors that we see work in perfect harmony to keep us just a little happier? Take a walk and watch the flowers and the trees gently swaying in the breeze, each a painted masterpiece without colors. We'd remember long ago, but we wouldn't even know we'd be dead. It is the Sesame Street school bus, said Little Bird, and she was right. You could have fooled me. I thought the big yellow turkey was talking about himself. A blue picture, I said to all the little birds as we walked toward the pond. Bird answered, I like it better when it's gray, said Oscar, who he answered from behind the bag. Just then, Grover came along on a blue bicycle with 2 blue balloons tied to the handlebars. The little birds had so many blue things to paint, and they were all so pretty to look at. It made me feel sure that blue was really my favorite color. Suddenly, said Cookie Monster as he tripped over a little Maxwell.
Oh dear, this birdie have blue paint on feathers.
Poor Maxwell. He was no longer a little yellow bird.
And this is a very nice blue picture. But you forget something. You forget to draw me. Me will help you. Me paint picture of me eating blueberry. Now, me add blueberry muffin
Ideal's new Story Magic Talking Toys, you can watch your favorite Sesame Street characters come alive in your own home.
Ask a dusky gentleman up for Tee Ruxpin. If I ever find out just what this word can mean, I'll be the smartest bird the world has ever seen. Look like a furry blue guy smiling when Oscar raised his own. But we wouldn't even know. We'd be missing every rainbow. Everything we see has colors of its own. Look at the tiniest stone. By its color it is known. Without colors, we'd remember long ago. But we wouldn't even know. We'd be missing every rainbow in.
Everybody's beautiful to someone. Whoever they may be. Everybody's beautiful to someone. It all depends on what you want to see. Some people say that I'm unattractive. They tell me I'm disgusting and worse. But if they could see me through my eyes, hey, I look like Mr. Universe. Whoa, everybody's beautiful to someone. It doesn't matter, whoever they may be. Everybody's beautiful to someone. I am beautiful to me. Ha! When I lie to you, it's an actual fact. Now sing along with my natural rap. Everybody's beautiful to someone. Whoever they may be. Everybody's beautiful to someone. It all depends on what you want to see. Hey, you're good at that. Yeah, get down. You know, it's not all fun and games being one of the beautiful people. Like you and me, I mean. For instance, did you ever hear the fairy tale about Beauty and the Beast? Well, on Melmac, we had a story just like it. Only it's called Beauty and the Alpher. First of all, I'll tell you about Beauty.
Cooler, what do they call you? I'm a pound puppy, and I'm so happy to be a part of your family. You see, for a long time, home was the nearest pound, and you know, it gets awfully lonely there. And I'm glad that I've got you to take care of me now. I'll be your best friend, forever and always. Since we're just getting to know each other, I thought that you'd like to know that I just love to be scratched behind my ears and kissed on my nose. Could you do that for me? Gee, you know something? I'm a pretty intelligent mutt. For one thing, I can talk. Bet you don't know many dogs who can do that. I'm completely housebroken. I always wipe my feet before coming into the house, and I don't have fleas. Do you? I know lots of stories. Would you like to hear one? Okay, all you knucklehounds. Gather round and old Cooler here will tell you a tale. A dog's tale about the time it was almost curtains for me. It was a beautiful Dutch scrounger had just laid his paws on some of the finest filet mignon that ever graced my mangy lips. When all of a sudden, Bright Eyes cried out, "Hey, all you pound puppies, it's that dizzy dog catcher, Dabney Nabbit." Sure enough, there he was, fleas and all, with his two evil-looking mutts, itchy and snitchy, showing their teeth and growling. Well, it was just about that time when I had the feeling that dinner was pretty much over. "Okay, all you knucklehounds, time to vamoose," I shouted, and took off with Itchy and Snitchy snapping at my heels.
And I have a good one for you. I'm going to tell you about my adventures in America. I live in New York City now, but I didn't always live in America. It all started back in Russia, 1885. My family and I lived in a small mouthful in a house in a little village called a shtetl. I guess our scarf she wears on her head. Then it was my turn. Papa took the hat off his head and placed it on mine. It's the hat you see me wearing now, only this is no ordinary hat. This hat had been in our family for many years. My papa had gotten it from his papa, and so on down the line. The hat was a bit too large for me, but I want to tell you, I've never felt more proud of anything in my life. Tony and I both gave Papa and Mom a big hug and thanked them for our presents.
Smarty Bear is an interactive bear. All you do is give his belly a little squeeze and turn him on. That's fine. Whoops, here's the button. You just squeeze him a little bit. And he's voice activated, so he'll respond to your voice. Also, Smarty Bear comes with a special video that you hook up to the TV or place in the TV, and he'll respond to the video also. And another thing is he's motion sensitive, so if you turn him down, he says turn Yoder. See? You are the greatest. If you can see his eyes and his mouth are moving. Okay, how about you zooming in, Mr. Cameraman, and showing them? Okay, there he is. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more. Smarty Bear, show them your eyes and your mouth moving. Smarty Bear, can you talk for us?
For sure.
For sure. A little bit more. Smarty Bear.
Better ask again later.
Okay, you can see that his mouth, his eyes move, and his eyebrows move. Okay, that's enough for Smarty Bear. Thank you very much. Let's go on to the next bear, friends. And this is Bingo Bear. Okay, Bingo Bear is a hand-animated bear. What you do, he's like a puppet. You just go ahead and put your hand right up inside of him, like this, and you control his animatronics. You're the one that makes his mouth move like this and gives him more expression. All you do is squeeze his mouth a little bit, kicks him on, and Bingo says over 100 different phrases. Okay?
Would you like to live in the forest? Are you serious? That's really something. I just love honey. You got some? Can you explain that to me? Why are you whispering? Will you scratch my ears?
Okay, now that's Bingo Bear, and Hasbro also made another one just at the same time. And just like Bingo Bear, we have Montgomery, and he talks and activates just the same way.
Oh, that feels so good.
Okay, and this is Montgomery right here. Okay, and that's Montgomery. He works and he activates just the same way as Bingo Bear works. Handheld puppet. It's animated handheld puppet. Just like Bingo Bear, you just slide your hand up behind him, and as you squeeze down on his mouth, it triggers a special mechanism that makes him change his phrases. All right, to just get him started, you just squeeze his belly.
Hello, I'm Wrinkles.
See?
I'd like to kiss again.
Okay, that's Wrinkles there.
I want to tickle. I want to have my breakfast.
Isn't that cool?
I'm your best friend. Press my tummy if you want to sing. I'm happy. Are you happy? Are you happy? I'd like to punk again. Why don't we talk? Would you like to play? I'd like to eat my food.
Okay, that's an example of Wrinkles. Let me show you one other one here. This is another Wrinkles. There's probably about 10 different colors that Wrinkles comes in. They're kind of like the Cabbage Patch dolls. There's no two the same. They come in different colors and different outfits. It's just like the Cabbage Patch dolls. They're all different. Different color. Also, you have a different nose on one and different clothing. All right, they all have their individuality. Here's, like I said, you can compare the difference with the outfits just like that, the different colored noses. I probably have in my own collection probably about 12 different colors. I don't have any two the same. All right, another hand-activated puppet, go ahead and throw those, was the Zootoon ones. And these were made by Worlds of Wonder. And all you do is simply give his paw a little squeeze. See that? Now, instead of talking, the Zootoons do different musical tones as you squeeze the hand, just like that. And it's kind of like a game, because what you do, the faster that you move your hand, the faster the music's going to go. So you kind of have to figure out what song that they're actually playing. What you do is you just squeeze his hand again, and that's going to go ahead and change the tune. Isn't that neat? That's super. Okay, now this is the purple hippo here. Okay, then we also had the lion. Okay, right there. And the third one was the gator. All right, so you have the little gator. These don't actually have any names. You just have them listed as the gator. These are from Worlds of Wonder. Okay, Zoo Tunes. Okay, the gator, the hippo, and also the lion. Okay, and that's all we have for the interactive hand puppets at this time. So that's it. Active bear. I don't know too much about this bear. It was given to me as a gift from a good friend of mine, Sue Shackleforth. Sue, thank you very much. This is also probably one of my favorite bears. One, probably because it was a gift from a friend. Also, I just love their voice. Interactive by, what you do is you just squeeze his paw, and you can hear his voice. Can you hear that? And he's made by Avon. Avon, it's kind of odd. Avon, I thought, made makeup instead of animatronics, but this is an example of theirs. Okay. You want to zoom in a little bit, and we'll give you a little bit closer up of him. So if anybody else out there has any more information on what his name is, you can send me a letter. Okay. And he says 4 phrases.
You're my very best friend. Hold me tight. Play with me. You're my pal. I love you.
Okay, and that's a little bear by Avon. All right, and we have one other item by Avon, an animated talking dog, animated toy that was made by Avon, and it's called Chattering Chester, and his mouth moves and he talks. Now the way that he's activated is that he runs by your voice. Whatever you say, you just talk to him, and he'll repeat back your own voice. All right? Now I'm not going to go ahead and talk to him because I don't want to hear myself. I don't like my voice. I don't want to talk back and forth. But what he does is you just talk, and his little mouth moves. Isn't he cute? And that was another one made by Avon. If anybody knows any animals that are made by Tupperware, send them in my way. Like that, cute? All right? And that's Chattering Chester, animated talking toy. This is called the Dozies, okay? This is a Dozy boy, and here's another one. This is called Dozy Bear, all right? They're special animated talking toys, the way that they have a special tape, just like all the other animated ones we have, but what they do here differently are their mouth. If you can see, there's no mouth here. Well, there's a light underneath, and the light comes on, and it moves back and forth. So the light is where your animatronics are, all right? And what you do is you flip the tape. On one side of the tape, you just squeeze his hand, and he will continue to tell you the bedtime story. Or what you do is flip the tape over, and on the other side, you just squeeze his hand one time, and he'll tell you part of the story, and shut back off. So it's off and on. It's made that way so when the child is falling off to sleep, he will continuously just be squeezing the hand as the story goes on, and as he falls off to sleep, he'll just lose interest. Something like that. Okay? So we'll just go ahead and dim the lights a little bit and show you how he works.
Can your parents hear us?
Wow.
Are you sleepy?
Okay, see how his eyes light up there in his mouth? Let me move my microphone right over here so that you can hear him real good.
Am I your best friend?
Isn't that super?
Ooh, I'm cold.
Oh, there's up of him. Okay.
Bedtime is fun, isn't it? I like to put on my pajamas and talk to you before we go to sleep.
That's the Dozy boy.
Let's go under the covers, okay? Isn't it fun under here?
Now, like I said, you just keep squeezing his pan.
Do you like my eyes?
You see his eyes will slowly get darker. He's completely off. One more
We
time.
better whisper when we talk. Not so loud. Someone will hear us. Isn't this fun? Want to play? Let's get under the covers. Uh-oh, it's dark under here.
All right, that's Dozy boy. And like I said, if anybody else has more information on him, I don't have one of them in a box. I just came across 2 of these at a doll show. So, but this is Dozy boy, and what I showed you earlier, this is Dozy the bear, and they both work exactly the same way. I think with there being a bear and a boy, that there may be a little dozy girl. She's a voice-activated talking doll. She still falls into that same category as with the talking animated dolls because she's one that was made by Worlds of Wonder. All right? She's voice-activated. She'll respond to your voice, but she also responds to touch. When you touch her eye, she'll make a comment about her eye. It's not actually her eye itself. It's like right below her eye, there's a sensor. Also, if you touch her nose, she'll say her nose is pretty. And if you touch her lips, her mouth, she'll say, I need a kiss, or she'll make a comment like, I love you, or so. All right? Like I said, she falls into that category. Also, she will talk completely the way she is. There's no problem. But she does have a special little computer card. What you can do is put in the back of her. It's not a computer disc. It's just a little card. And you put this in her back, and it will expand her vocabulary. That's all it does, is just expand her vocabulary. Now, she also has like little storybooks like this that comes along with that cartridge, all right? So that way there, when she makes those little special comments about maybe visiting the mall or whatever, it's a little kind of like a sticker book. See like this here? Just like that. And she'll make a little comment about it, and what you do is just go ahead and add to the sticker page. Okay? Now that's Pamela. I'll go ahead and I'll turn her on so you can hear her voice.
I love you.
Okay? Let me give her my mic. Pamela.
I love your friend.
Okay, then I just touch her eye.
Do you like my eyes?
And her nose.
Your nose is pretty.
And her mouth.
I love you.
See?
Can I have a kiss?
And we're going to continue on with the Talking Animated Toy Collection. All right? The first, where we just left off, was talking about the Cabbage Patch Dolls. A couple other features we wanted to add to the Cabbage Patch Dolls. Like we just said, they correspond back and forth together. We already covered that. We also covered the two different styles of Cabbage Patch Dolls. This is a face number 8. There's also a face number 9. And then there's just a little marking on the back of the neck that identifies the difference between them. Okay? One other thing we want to show, the Cabbage Patch Doll has a special little drinking cup. All right? And I'll go ahead and turn. You're thinking, well, see, I don't need to call you. I can go ahead and find these at any local store in my own hometown. Yeah, you probably can. But when you go to buy these, you'll be buying maybe 5 or 10 at a time, where when I go to buy them, I maybe buy about 50 to 100. I have a mailing list of over 600 people that I deal with now. So I buy larger quantities so I can buy them now at a cheaper price. So if you are interested, this book that you would probably pay $10 for, I think I get them now for like $5 or something. So I get them almost half the cost of that you would personally buy them yourself if you only bought 5 and 10. All right? One other item, like I was saying, is that you may need instructions. You want to put instructions on the side of that panel. We're going to be going into the repair section right now. Those instructions are so important. So many people take and call me time after time and say, well, my Tee Ruxpin's not working, or my Snoopy's not working. And it's just a simple problem. If you had those instructions with you and it said, well, you had your tape in backwards, or you didn't have the batteries in the proper way, the best thing is to do, even if you do have instructions, read those instructions over clearly, okay? Because that's where your major problems are, right there, because you didn't follow those instructions properly. But if you do need those instructions, I have a list of all the instructions for talking animated toys. I think I'll have them all except for the instructions for Grubby Bear and the ones for Smarty Bear. So if you happen to have those are two that I'm looking for. I'm also looking for the instructions for Mother Goose. Of all those, it's kind of weird because I have personally, in mint condition, because I bought mine all these original cartons and everything, I probably have over 300 talking animated Mother Gooses now as it is, but I need her actual instructions. Even though it's Words of Wonder, they're all working the same way. But this is how I have all my my backup copies of my instructions, and I also have copies of all the documents from all the stockholders markets and stockholders meetings and everything from the company Worlds of Wonder when all this stuff was going on. And these were some of the brochures and things that they were sending out to the stockholders of the new product that was being sent out. This was advertisement for Teddy and Grubby when they were first seen, like in the Sears and Penny's catalog. All these things. If you need instructions on any of this stuff, this is all the clothing that was made for children for Tee Ruxpin. I can make you copies of any of these things if you need instructions. This is one just showing like Charlie Brown. Now you know Charlie Brown was never made. No matter how many pictures you see of him, they was never made. This all the photos that you're seeing was just that prototype. Okay, and like I said, any instructions that you may have for any talking animated toys, just go ahead and write to me. Okay, like I said, write to me though. Please don't call, please. If you need any information on any of these stuff, just go ahead and sit down and make a list and write. Okay? Now, as far as getting those instructions, there is going to be a fee for those. There is a charge because it's going to cost me to go out and Xerox them off, run down to Office Depot or whatever. So I'm going to be having a price for those actually put onto our new inventory list. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to cut now. We're just going to go right into our segment on fixing talking animated toys. All right? Please stay tuned. Thank you. Oh, one other factor I want to tell you. After we do that, I am going to go ahead and scan through one of our other storage areas where I actually keep, it's not an area, it's just another room here in the house, where I actually house over 1,500 talking animated toys. And if you would probably have seen all that storage area, if you would have been watching one of the network TV shows, we were actually on for the full-hour program showing talking animated toys. We actually showed that other room that has the hallways and the aisles of all those animatronics. Okay, so we'll show you that just in case you happen to miss that program. Thank you. Video that you've been anxiously waiting. After 2.5 hours, we finally got to the section about repairs on talking animated toys. As far as getting any shorter on what we've already showed you, we're very sorry that it took over 2 hours to actually show you all those different talking animated toys. But so that you can really understand the character and understand how the mechanics of the toy works, as far as the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, that's why we had to show the character reading maybe a full story or talking for a full 2 to 3 minutes, so that you can actually actually see the motion and stuff. Also, it took that long to actually show some of the accessories and moving around, setting up and everything. Okay? Well, let's don't go any longer with this section. This will be probably about 15 minutes long. But if you do have any more questions after this about repairs, please go ahead and write to us, because we're not going to be able to cover every single problem in this 15-minute segment. All right? The reason for this video was to give you highlights of everything. Not only just the collection, not only just the repairs, but we wanted to touch on all of it together, especially the section on Tee Ruxpin. Tee Ruxpin had so many different accessories, so we are going to set up a separate video just on Tee Ruxpin and all his accessories, and we're also going to set up a separate video on nothing but repairs. And that particular video will go into more detail, touching on more of a variety. All right? But we hope that in this 15 minutes that we can help solve some of your problems. Okay? One thing that we do want to stress very strongly, okay, are on these toys, if you do not feel secure enough to jump into this, that you know what you're going to be doing, please do not cut into these animals. We don't want to be going out to the flea markets, the thrift stores, and whatever, months or years from now and start finding these animals all in boxes and stuff, scrap boxes, where somebody has attempted to follow my instructions and they didn't work, or it was too much over their head, and they tore it apart and then lost interest in it and just threw it in a box. All right? Like I said, do not cut into these things unless you feel secure enough that you can follow through the steps that we're going to be giving you. All right? And also, so many of these problems can also be solved before you have to cut into them. So listen very closely. And a lot of these little tips that I'm going to give you are probably just basic tips. If you already followed through your instructions, some of those problems should have been solved right there in the instructions, as far as making sure the batteries were put in right and things like that. Okay? This is an example right here. This is Julie. Okay? As you know, Julie is very desirable. She's very hard to come by. And nothing aggravates me more when I come across a doll like this and find the head cut off. All right? Somebody has done this because they thought there was a problem with the eyes and the mouth not being able to move, so they thought the first thing to do is to cut into the head. Well, the mechanics for this doll, the only thing that's in the head is a small motor. All the other problems are going to be right here in the body. All they needed it to do is remove these 4 screws and move a couple of wires around that would happen to have been touching and grounding it out. That was it. And this is why we find a lot of these dolls. Same as with maybe Corky and Cricket and some of those. They've gone ahead and hacked the head off because the mouth wasn't moving right or the eyes weren't moving right. And you'll find the biggest problems are in the body part down here, that you do not have to cut into the head. Also, when you go ahead and cut into the head like this, especially against this plastic, even though there's a seam here, you're never going to have that sealed properly back up there the way that it was done by the manufacturer. It's still always going to have that faded line. You're still going to have that scar across it. It's going to look like Frankenstein with a little stitching across there. Okay? So that's one thing that we do want to encourage you not to do. Do not cut into these things unless you feel confident. And also do not cut into the heads of these things unless if you've run out of ideas about how to fix the body of them or whatever. Like I said, you can feel free to go ahead and write to me, but it's so overwhelming responding to all these repairs. The best thing for us to do is to put together a separate video. All right? Well, let's go on. This video, as you can see, I am very close. The reason why I have to stay this close so that you can watch the detail as we're talking about these on the repair. Okay? Well, here's your common item that everybody's finding, are the Tee Ruxpin. And the very first thing that somebody will call me and they'll say, well, power, okay? We're going to start with power problems, all right? Because the eyes aren't going to move, the mouth's not going to move, the tape deck is not going to move unless you have power in it, all right? So number one, always make sure you have fresh batteries. Fresh batteries means if you have to go out to a store and actually purchase new batteries, do that. Because if you have batteries that you said you haven't used, but they've been sitting around maybe for 6 months to even a year or longer, and then you're counting on those batteries to work, or maybe just one of those batteries got mixed up with an old battery, and you're not going to have a positive connection in there. So make sure you start off with fresh batteries, all right? Number two, make sure, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, numbering number one, number two, excuse me, okay? Like I said, I'm not a professional with talking with this, so bear with me. Make sure that the batteries are making contact, all right? There's a little chart right down in here, if you can see. It shows you the directions of the batteries, all right? If this chart happens to be missing, all right, right across the top of it, it is embedded in plastic, okay? The plus and the minus right across the top, all right? Especially for Teddy. Teddy goes, the first one goes plus, or shall I say, positive, negative, positive, negative. Now what happens there, people are calling me about their grubbies and saying their grubbies not working. Well, they're putting the grubbies batteries in the same way as Teddy's go in, and they don't go in that way. They go in just the opposite. And lots of times the grubby will be missing this part here, but it's still on the plastic where it says plus, minus, plus, minus. But remember, grubbies batteries go in the opposite way of Teddy's and grubby, of Teddy's. So instead of being plus, minus, it starts off with a minus. Minus, plus, minus, plus. All right? So say that you got your batteries in there. If they're fresh batteries, you've got them in there. And you close the battery cover down. Let me grab the battery cover. Battery cover down. And it's still not working. All right? Well, starting off with, this is not only with Worlds of Wonders toys. These are with anyone, especially like with Big Bird. Cookie Monster, any of those different ones, Alf, anyone? There's the little metal clips, you can see right in here. It's kind of like a spring type thing, okay? What you're going to need to do is simply reach in there with your fingers or take a little tool, all right, and pull those up to create more tension. It's the little spring part right there, okay? And you're going to need more tension in that on those. So if it's a spring, take the spring and stretch it out a little bit more. If it's like a little bar and stuff, pull that little bar out, all right? Don't be afraid of pulling out too much. It's not going to snap it or anything. Put the batteries on. A lot of people will say, well, then now I've got to put this battery cover on, and the batteries are just squeezing down, and it's like it's ready to pop off. Well, it's better to have a little bit more tension than not enough tension, okay? Because without the proper tension, without the proper connection there, it's not going to work. And that's a simple solution right there to your power problem. Just make sure that those connectors are taken and pulled them straight up. It's just like a piece of paper like this. Let me show you. Okay, the connector is laying flat like this. Okay, just like that, it's laying flat. You just need to raise that up, that connector that's on the bottom, a little bit more. So when the battery comes down onto it, so it has more tension pushing up against the top level. Okay, so just stretch that out a little bit more, just like that. Or even if it's the spring, raise it up a little bit more so when the battery goes in, it's making better connection. All right. I have a little checklist here now. Okay, so what we've done is you've gone ahead and you've checked to make sure the batteries are powerful, strong enough. Also, as far as with the connectors and stuff like that, pull those springs up, pull those little bars up to make sure that you've got enough connection on that part. And make sure that the batteries are in a proper way, that you have them in plus, minus, okay? You come across these and there's corrosion, okay? Say maybe somebody left the batteries in these too long and they've leaked through, or you've got rust or something on it. See this little metal part right here? You're going to have to get some of that corrosion off. And what you can do is simply use an emery board, you know, that you use for your fingernails. Take an emery board and scratch that and clean those off a little bit. Also, you can take a Q-tip, and put a little bit of lime remover, like stuff that you use around the tub. Put lime remover on there, and that lime remover would remove the rust. Just as it removes rust stains from around your faucet, it's going to remove that rust stain here. And take the Q-tip and also clean down inside here, down where you have the connections. Make sure that's all cleaned off, and you can take an emery board and scratch it. Some people have told me that there's like a special film, there's like a surface on there, and by taking the file and scratching that, you're taking that film off. That is absolutely not true. All you do is it's metal. All you do is want a metal connection so that the current can go through. There's not a little film of plastic, there's not a little film of wax over there that you have to worry about taking off. So if you take the file and just scrape that off, all that's doing is cleaning the metal so that you have a positive connection. All right, so that's a little bit of hint. Just take a Q-tip, a little bit of bleach or a little bit of lime, and remove all that rust in here. And same as with if you have rust or that acid anywhere around here, just clean all that up with either lime remover or a little bit of bleach. Don't pour the bleach in there. Just take a Q-tip that you can actually control where it's going to be going. All right. So you've got that all set up with batteries all the time or anything like that. The best thing, I just skip right over it to make sure in case my batteries are not strong enough or they are old enough. What I actually do, I go out, buy one of these plugs, and you can buy them at Radio Shack, you can buy it at Toys R Us, and it's a little power plug, just like this, and it has changeable current on it. You want to get one that has a changeable current. You don't want one that just plugs right in that has like 1 amp and 10 volts or 4 volts or whatever. You want one that has a little switch right here where you can change the current right there, all right? And this one here, particular one, I got at Toys R Us, and I think I paid like $6, $7 for it, all right? At the end of it, it has all these special little plugs on it, which, see this little star-shaped plug? Like 2 of these different ones, one of them actually plugs directly into the Pound Puppy, and also one of them plugs directly into Feifel, so I don't have to worry about batteries. I can just plug that right in. Also, it had another wire that was just hanging out here, which I take and I attach these roach clips on. You can call them roach clips, or some people call them gator clips, all right? So what I do is I just take these little alligator clips and clip them right onto a positive connection here and a negative connection. Those would be like if it's a little spring sticking out so that you're dealing with your big bird, or if you're dealing with one of these where it has like a little bar. Again, this is what you're looking at. It's just folded over like this. So this little metal bar that's underneath there, just go ahead and clip. Take the alligator clip and clip it right onto it like that. Okay, so it has a good connection. But one on the positive and one on the negative, right next to each other. All right, or one really opposite. You can put one over here just to be safe so that they don't connect or they don't touch. But that's going to give you the power that you need. Then you just adjust this, all right, on your battery. It says like if it's a 1.5 or whatever, how many the volts are. If it's 4 of those, you multiply that out. And you just multiply each battery out and set this accordingly to what you need. All right. Now this is also some people's little invention as far as doing away with batteries. All right. They go ahead and they say, well, I'll just use this, and even when I'm making my own electrical display or making my character run by electric, I'll just go ahead and plug one of these in. Okay. Well, this is what I was saying before on this segment about displays. If you just clip these on and somebody just pulls at this wire inside here, if they tug on this, if you go to pick, or if a child comes by and picks the toy up not knowing that there's a wire there, those two little alligator clips are going to slide right off and touch together, and it's going to cause a spark and you could have a fire. Even if you screw these things down and that's part stable, it still goes back to the problem that you're dealing with a display where the character where you're going to still have to open this door, fuss around with this, and pull its clothes all off just to be able to change the tape or to turn it on. And another thing is this tape deck here was not made industrial. It was not made like the ones, electrical display ones, where it was made to run day after day, hour after hour. All right? So just that was a little bit of note. I didn't want to get off the track there, but as soon as somebody sees this little power pack, they say, well, this is the power pack that I can just go ahead and use this and get a couple gator clips and clip that on there, and then I will have electrical display. Well, what you've got is same character, and it's running by electric, but you still have same problems as far as running off of this tape deck that's not made to run day after day, hour after hour. It's not an industrial type one. Plus, you're going to have to flip this thing back up. Okay, like I said, not to get off the subject, but I add on to this massive wire thing right here, is this little clip right here. And what this little clip is from, I've just taken one of these pieces from the circuit board, if you've probably taken one of these apart already, and it has two little plugs at the end, just like this. I'm going to get closer here in a second. I'm going to zoom in. But this little plug, I adapt one of these onto it. Then when I'm working on my toy, you can probably already know, if you're working on this and you've made any changes and stuff, and okay, you made some adjustments. Well, you're going to have to put this all back together, put the whole screws down, then put the batteries back in just to see if it's working right. Well, I don't have to do that. All I do is just take this plug, pull the plug out where the power is connecting, and just plug this right in there. Okay, so that's plugged right in, so I have direct power. So I don't have to put this tape deck in and out of the character. All right, it's away from the character right here, and I can do any work on it right there without having to fuss around by putting the batteries back and forth in there. And as far as taking roach clips or those gator clips and clipping them back on, this is more professionally done. This is actually done exactly the same way as the original toy is. All right? Well, I'm going to show that up closer. Don't panic now because I am going to do this a little bit closer. All right. So we're going to review that again. Let's touch on a couple more things here where we were saying, so that we can go ahead to avoid you cutting into these animals. Now let's say that we've got the power going, okay? You've got power in here and that's fine, all right? If you don't have power in it yet, we'll go back to that, but we're just going to say that you do have power in here. And but you have, the eyes are not moving, or the mouth is not moving. How can you do something about this without ripping all this apart, all right? Number one, listen really closely. Can you actually hear the motor in your turning? Listen to when it's time for the mouth to move. And say that maybe it's a quiet time. The mouth is not moving. It's time for the eyes to move. Do you hear a motor in there turning? All right? If you hear the motor turning, but the eye's not turning, move the eye back and forth. If it's sliding back and forth very easily, that you don't feel any tension, then you've got a spring that's missing. All right? There's a spring has sprung out of there. Connection. This is the eye right here, and it pivots back and forth on a motor that's here, just exactly like these little round circles are, okay? And they roll back and forth, just like this, and it moves the motor. What happens is if these are not touching, the spring is not pushing this up against here, the spring is not pressing this up against here, then it's not going to be able to turn this other gear, all right? So they're going to be this far apart, and you're going to feel this play because the spring is missing, all right? So that is one problem there. But say that they are moving, that you can feel that tension right on there, all right? So the tension's right on there. All you need to do, which is one of the big downfalls with the company, so many people were buying these toys, taking them home from Walmart or Kmart or Toys R Us, and the eyes weren't moving or the mouth wasn't moving. All they simply had to do is take and move those eyes up and down by yourself. And take the nose, just press your hand up against the nose where you can actually feel that gear moving. And turn that motor over, all right? So you got that now? If the eyes or the mouth are not moving, all right, simply just take it and move it back and forth where you can feel that tension. You're not going to break it. These are made for children. These are a lot stronger than you think they are. Move that mouth, press in, where you can feel that gear moving back and forth on both of them, up and down the mouth, okay? What you're doing is you're causing friction, this here, back and forth, okay, to kick that motor over, just like that, okay? One other thing is, if you're having problems with the eyes and the nose not moving, whatever you do, okay, make note of this. Never, ever, never, ever spray WD-40 anywhere around any of these things. If it's squeaking or whatever, if you've got a loud motor, well, you've got a loud motor. There's nothing WD-40 is going to do to stop that motor from squeaking or being any louder. A lot of people get that WD-40 with a little straw in it and poke the straw here in the eye and spray it in there. Well, what you've done now, if you've just greased this motor up, and now what's going to happen is this is just going to slide back and forth. There's not going to be any friction there to move that gear. So never, ever put WD-40. If you do have a problem of this sliding, what you need to do is just the opposite. You want to cause a positive connection. You want to cause friction in that right between these. So they do have tension. You have to excuse my words here. Okay, but I'm going to try to describe this to you as best as I can. But you want to have the positive connection where these are grinding together. All right, so in order to do that, you want an alcohol base spray. And you can just pick this up at Radio Shack or any electrical place. And it comes in an aerosol can, a cleaner degreaser. And it's made to spray inside your VCRs. You can spray it inside your VCR. It removes all the dust and all the gunk and stuff like that in there. And it has a little straw just like this. This is the brand that I use. I'll hold it up here. Okay, you can just get it at Radio Shack or any appliance store. I get it at Circuit City. All you do is the same thing as you do poke this in the eye, like right here, spray it in by the mouth, spray it in there. And if you do not have any positive contact, plus even if you have a motor that's been locked up and you take this and move this around, this is my lifesaver. I have had found more toys at the flea markets and thrift stores that people could not get working, and I've just gone ahead and sprayed this in here. And with a couple of minutes, either I've got the motor moving back and forth, or even overnight after it's had time to dry inside, I just wake up the next morning, move this back and forth a little bit, get it going, and it's fine. And it's worked ever since then. Okay, so let's touch back on here. Let's review a little bit more. Okay, now we've got power in here. We've checked the batteries. We've checked to make sure those prongs are pulled out. The power in there is correct. You think, well, that's easy. I've done all through that, so all my power and everything's working here. I've moved my eyes back and forth. I've done that, T. I've pressed up against this here, and the eyes are still not working, or whatever, all right? So as a last resort, this is where you're going to have to go ahead and open this up, all right? Like I said, do not cut into the mouth or the head just yet. The problem may be in the circuit board or further on down, okay? Number one, okay, so when we open this up, all you need to do is to remove 4 screws, okay? Remove the 4 screws here. There's 2 at the top and 2 right underneath where the battery cover are. Where the battery cover is? Yeah, right there, okay? So you just remove those 4, and you'll see how these plugs coming out right here, all right? So you don't want to unplug those because I know some of you people will not remember where they came from, whatever. All right. So what you do is you go ahead and take your little power pack here and you connect your little roach clips on. Connect it here on your little roach clips or something on so that you got power so you can work with this without putting this in and out with the batteries, okay? If you do not have one of these, if you wish to work without, well then that's the disadvantage that you're going to have, because you're going to have to try to tinker around with this and then put it all back together with the 4 screws, get it all down there, get it in tight, put the batteries back in, then see if it works. If it doesn't work, then you're going to have to take those batteries back out, remove the 4 screws, and come back out again. But by having this electrical plug type thing in here, I can work with it freely without the body. Okay? What I'm going to do is go ahead and cut. This is the last you'll see my face. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut and zoom in with the camera, come in real close so I can show you all these little detail type pieces of things to check, things that we've just gone ahead and touched over and worked on. Okay? So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you can understand my rambling and going on here. I'm not the best teacher, but I hope that you can pick up some of these things that I'm trying to communicate across to you as far as basic repair. All right? Thank you very much. Now I'm going to go ahead and go off the camera and zoom in and just kind of point out some of these facts to you. All right? I still have probably about 10 minutes to go on the repair section. It's just that I have to zoom in and just show you my handwork and show you where we're actually going to be working on the small detail parts. Okay? Stay tuned. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. Now where we're at here, if I've gone ahead and I've removed this circuit board, okay? This particular circuit board, you can tell it's red, so it belongs to Mickey. It does not belong to Teddy, but it's just an example here. All right, so we've gone ahead and removed the 4 screws right here, and the screws down here, 4 screws right here, right below the circuit board, right below the battery section. Okay, so this is removed and laid over to the side. All right. Don't want to jump out of contents here, but we were talking about as far as problems with the motors in the head. But let's touch on this real quick. This is a problem that a lot of people say that the tape player you can't get it to work because it only works when the door is halfway open or halfway closed, and the tape will click on. What it does, this is a safety feature so that so it will work. So this will automatically kick off if the child lifts the door up. So what you've got to do is tell this that the door is already closed down here. What you need to do is removing this. I try to explain this all the time with people over the phone, so this is going to be my visual aid. Okay. Back the camera up just a little bit here. Right in here, you can see where the tape deck rocks back and forth. Okay, you can see this is the head. You come all the way down, and this is where the tape deck pivots back and forth. It's like a little horseshoe type form. Okay, it's a little horseshoe. Like this. Okay, this is where it's just like this, and this is where the door pivots. It rocks back and forth on this. Okay, you can see it's part of the plastic mold. It's part of the plastic mold. Can you see that right there? There's one here, and one here, and over on the side. Okay, this is just like this pencil would fit right down in there. It pivots back and forth on that. Okay, where this little section here is where it pivots back and forth, this little part of the mold. Part of the mold that's in there. Okay, what you need to do is to raise this door up a little bit. So what you're going to do is take and put a little bit of masking tape right down across the bottom of this. Feel this little, like a little river type thing you're looking at right here. It's not like it's a flat piece, but what you want to do is fill this in a little bit with like a piece of masking tape just to raise that up. If you can understand what I'm talking about here. Just need to raise this up a little bit. So when you go to put the tape layer back down, in, so it will be up a little bit higher. So we're telling that the door is already closed. All right? Do you understand that? Now right here, this is the door. Right here. See this bar that swings back and forth right here? Okay, see how that swings back and forth like that, and it pivots on these two? Well, there's two other little bars that it pivots back and forth on. Okay, I think you can see it. Let me get it right here. See that section right there? You can see that with it. I'm trying to play with the camera a little bit. See this part right here? You can see that little horseshoe type of a thing. This is where this gear right here is pivoting on. Okay? The other half of that looks just like that is inside here. It's inside the mold right here. All right? This one in here, not this one, but this one right in here on the mold right there. That is where you want to put a little bit of padding. Put a little bit of masking tape or something and lay it in there, just so when this rocks back and forth, it's raised the door up a little bit and it's telling it that the door is closed down. That's a very simple problem. If you've got that thing where the door has to be halfway open, just to be able to get the tape deck to kick on. All right? So now we've got the tape deck working. All right? That problem is very easy to solve. Now let's go back to as far as with this deal with the mouth and the eyes not moving. All right? Well, first of all, here's this power plug. All right? It's a little bit better viewed here. Let me get this untangled. So what we have here is this plug right here, very simply. You can see what it looks like. It's got the two wires, just like that. Okay? And this is actually a part from one of the Worlds of Wonder toys, okay? Actually, I've just taken this and I've spliced this so it plugs into my power pack. So I'm going to be able to plug this in the same way right here. There's where it plugs into this little prong, the male section. This is the female plug, and the male section of the plug here sticking out. Well, this runs down and connects to your battery cover, your battery plate in there, all right? So you just follow that down where their power goes, and that's where I've just taken one of those and I've cut it off. If you have any spare ones of these, okay, if you find any extra parts, that's where you can always use those little things. But just take a two-prong one, just like this, and simply just plug it in, just like that. Now that's plugged in, it's secure, it's plugged in just like the factory would have done it to make this electric, just also the same way as the factory made it to actually run from the battery. This is the same wire that would run down and connect the battery power on. Okay, and I've gone ahead and I've jumped that. Okay, so now I've got power to work on just from here. Now if you need even extra ones of these, so you don't have to go out and say, T, I don't have a bunch of these pieces, you can go ahead and write me and I'll see how much these are costing, because I did find a wire place that had those, a little plug. I think they're like about $2, that plug. And once you have it, it's very easy to work with. Okay, so plug that in there. All right. Hope I'm holding your interest. It's that I'm not just rambling off here, but there is so much to cover and so much detail to keep the conversation flowing because it's not something I'm working from a script from. This is something that I have to take and just wing it. Okay? You've got the power on and everything. Well, these are the three plugs up here at the top where your eyes, the nose, and the mouth plug in. If you have one of these plugs, say your mouth is working but your eyes are not working, you need to go ahead and test that motor. Okay? So simply unplug one of these motors, mark it with a color pencil or color marker so that you know that that blue one came from this blue one, or take a red marker and color it red so that you know which one came from what. But unplug this one and then transfer this over here and plug it into this one. You always know the motors always have 5 prongs. Nothing else in this circuit board has 5. All right, so that's the only one, so you're not going to plug one into the wrong piece or anything. So simply unplug the dead motor and then plug it into one of these other circuit parts to find out if the problem is that the circuit here is dead or if your motor's dead. All right, so if you've got a motor that's already working off of this one, you know that's positive connection. So take it and then unplug this and use this male connector to test. All right, so you go ahead and plug that in and you find now that that motor is dead. Well, what you're going to have to do is replace that motor. All right, this is what Teddy looks like without all that. All right, You take off all this fur and everything. It looks like this. You have 3 motors right here. You have 2 right motors and 1 left motor in the center. By that it means, see, the motors are not all facing out forward. Okay, they flipped them over, so you've got one facing this way, so they're not, so that they can stack on top of each other. All right, so make sure that you have one that's an R or an L. Make sure that you know which one you're dealing with. And all the motors for Worlds of Wonder toys are interchangeable. So if I have a Mother Goose that's not working, or if I have a Mickey that's not working, I can always take the motors out of one and put into another. They're very easy. I don't have to cut the wires or anything. All I do is simply slide this right out and slide another motor in. It's not hard at all. Okay. And see right here where I was telling about, you can see better as far as with that mouth moving here, with that gear. Let me figure it out here where I can get a good spot so that you can actually see. Okay, see right here, you can see how that gear moves back and forth. See how that slides in that circle. See, now if that's not touching properly, that's why your eyes are not working. Or if that motor's dead, or it's not, it just needs to be unlocked, you press a little bit harder, just enough to kick that gear over, or you go ahead and spray. Just spray your little cleaner stuff in there. Let it dry real good. Let it dry. And then move that motor up and down a little bit so that you get that gear there working. All right. The other thing is if the motor is working, you've got the power control, that you don't have to slide this motor out, put another one in. Well, see right here where this little spring is? There's a little tension spring right on top. See where my pencil is? That is one of the biggest problems with these. Before you have to cut into these, well, you're going to have to open it up anyways to be able to get into this part. But if you hear the motor moving, but your eyes are not moving, then this is the problem right here. This spring has sprung out of here, if you can see. I don't know, this camera. So when we go to redo this section on just repairs, we're going to have a better camera and have this better situated out. This video is mainly just to show talking animated toys. This is not detailed enough to go into to show all these repairs. But all right, see where the spring is right here? That's the #1 culprit right there. Is that the eyes aren't moving and you hear the motor. It's not the motors will burn out the biggest percentage of the time. It's just this little spring is missing, and you don't have the tension where these two, this is what I've shown you before, so these two can move back and forth. Okay, well, it's back like this, so this motor's over here going crazy trying to move, but the eyes are not moving because the spring is not pressing this up against here. All right, so all you do is you can buy these springs anywhere, any hardware store anywhere, and just pop a little spring in that section. All right, and I'll push those together so that you can get a positive reaction like that. Okay. All right, so that I'm not rambling on, let me go ahead and check down through my list here. First, with any door problems, you know how to do that. All you need to do is take that up, and that little divot right here, where this section is, you just need to put a little bit of tape in there to raise that door up a little bit, okay? And we showed you very easily where that is. Simply, that is like right here when you go to take the door off, okay? So you just need to raise that up right where you have that part of the mold. Just put a little bit of masking tape down in there just to raise the door up a little bit, okay? If you have a bad switch, all right? Well, if you have a bad switch, you're just going to have to unplug the switch from here. Just follow where the wires are. That's all you have to do. You think, oh my God, this is too intense. I don't know where all these wires are going to. Just simply, you know this is an off and on switch right there. You know that's where the switch is. So just flip it over on the back and you can see the switch from this side and just follow the wires down. It's one plug right here. Let me take this off. Right there. See that? That is the switch right here. And all you do is simply have to remove 2 little screws, and you can order a switch from me. Just say, T, I need to get one of these switches. All right? Well, if that's a switch problem, that's all you have to do is order one right there and just put another switch in. You have to have an IQ of 3 to be able to do something like this. It just has 2 screws right here, and you just pop this back in and just simply follow where that wire came from and plug it back in. It's just like a house plug. That's the only thing. Don't let this circuit board scare you, because all these little plugs are just like a wall plug. That's all they are, except they just have a little more. They just have more male ends on them. Okay, instead of the 2 or the 3-prong plug, it has like 5. All right, so we've solved the door problem by just putting the tape on it. If you have a bad switch, then your switch is going to just have to be replaced. And another thing is, if you're not getting any power, this is a vital important. See right down here, this is all of them. This is all the ones from Worlds of Wonder and all the ones from Ideal. You have like a switch in here. This is leading from the power. See this particular one? It's right down here in the corner. Make sure that you have no wires that are touching each other. See, look through any of your toys, whatever one that you're working off. It's a Mother Goose or Big Bird or a Jill doll or Julie doll, and see if you have any wires that were cleaned down, skinned, okay, which this particular plug, this is in all of them. Especially there's even instructions that were sent back to the store owners for the electrical displays for the same exact thing, where the wire is bare. There, I think that's a good view right here, that sort of, okay. And right here in this plug, this wire is bare. So what happens is these wires end up getting pinched together or moved together, and it's grounding this out. So it's grounding down, so you're not going to have any power. So just go simply in there and pull them apart, take a piece of electric tape, and put just around this section right here, okay, so that those two wires do not touch again. And the same problem as far as with Big Bird and Cookie Monster and some of those Alf and whatever. Just check through and see if you have any bare wire where those two wires can be touching. It's that simple, okay? And somebody's going to charge you 15 bucks or 20 bucks to do some repairs on it, and that's something you could have just simply looked at it yourself. See, all the other wires are all nice and covered with the plastic coating. Well, these ones here, they cleaned up too far, and you've got two bare wires showing. So those two bare wires are grounding together. It's that simple. All right, I don't know if you can even see this. You can hear me going on and on, but just go ahead and fix those. All right, just cover those with masks. Cover those with electrical tape. All right. Okay. So as far as with the eyes and the nose and the mouth working, all right, we told you how to fix that. Just take the eyes and the mouth and move them back and forth. Get that gear moving, okay? Make sure you have positive connection. Make sure never to use WD-40. Use an alcohol-based spray so that your gears are, so that you can get that gear touching, so you can get that roughed up where it's actually real tough and where you've got a positive connection. It's going to move that motor back and forth, okay? So you've got the eyes and the nose, mouth, and then working. I'm trying to read down on my list. Okay, as far as if you can hear motors, if the motors are too loud, all right, there's nothing you can do about a loud motor except just have it replaced, all right? So you just have to go ahead and replace the loud motor. We do the same thing. I work over at one of the major theme parks, and I've worked it with the animatronics over there. If we have a loud motor or something, it's because of the brushes inside the motor. So those brushes inside the motor, such a small little motor with these. So you can't, as far as taking that little motor apart and redoing those brushes, you can't do it. It's better just to go ahead and replace it. Okay, and we also told you about replacing this missing spring, okay? See where this mold part is here? There's a little piece. See how this pencil is right here, how it's pointed? Right there where the spring is going to go slide right onto that and right onto the tip of the motor itself. And it presses the motor up against that gear. So if that spring is missing, then that motor is just floating around in there. It doesn't have any positive pressure up against it. So it's just floating around in there, and it's not going to turn the eyes and the mouth. Okay? I hope that some of this has not been too confusing as we were reviewing, but like I said, number one, what we started off with, we were talking about as far as with your batteries, making sure that the batteries are in properly, okay? This is where your batteries go. Make sure that you've got them in where it says, where is it at? Where it says plus, minus. See where your tabs go, where it says plus, minus, okay, across there. Negative or positive, back and forth, whatever you want to call it, plus, minus, or positive, negative, whichever. I know people there are laughing at me, trying to correct me. Well, plus, minus is the same thing as positive, negative, you idiot. So, anyways, it's the same thing. But remember, like I said, on the Grubby, these are different, and so many other different toys. People will have the habit of just dropping the batteries in the same exact way. Make sure to follow your guide. Also, remember to pull those little tongs up. Right in here. You can see them real good with that. See these right here? You want to pull these up. Just pull them up real tight. so that when you go to put this battery on, the batteries are going to be a little bit harder to squeeze down in there, and the batteries feel like they're going to pop right out, but at least you're going to get positive connection, and you can find out if it's a battery problem or if it's a power problem right there. Okay? Two other problems with this deal with these connectors. If you have a problem with your connector, the biggest percentage is not with the connector here itself. All right? The problem is, now this is one that only works with Teddy and Grubby. You cannot replace this. You cannot have this made by anybody else. Don't care if anybody says, well, they're going to go and have somebody, factory down the street make these. Well, there's a patent on these, all right? And there's no reason for these to be made for any other toy. This was specially made for Tee Ruxpin, all right? Now, the characters, all the other characters, Mother Goose, Mickey, Goofy, the ones for Big Bird, all those connectors, are just a stereo speaker connector. Make sure that they have 2 slashes on them. See where those 2 little rings are right there? Make sure there's 2 of them. But if you go to plug this in, Teddy, and you plug it in Grubby, and if it's not working when you go to put this in, okay, it's not the connector most of the time. What you have the problem is the plug that it's going into right here, all right? This piece is bad, so this part here is going to have to be replaced, all right? So as far as having parts for that, you can easily replace that. If you have another Teddy, you just go ahead and remove that and just pop this little plate right off, and it slides back in, and you have a little plug. Just follow your plugs around into your circuit board, and where this plug comes out of here, there's another plug going right in, and it plugs right into here. It has 3 wires. Just remember that. It's the only one in here that has 3 wires. So the 3 wires that connects the speaker one. Just as these 3 rings are here, you're going to have 3 wires up here that goes down to this part. Okay? So if your Teddy and your Grubby are not speaking together, back and forth, and make sure that you have this connector in there all right, which you probably tried that and wiggled around and done all that things. Well, that's where you even with Big Bird or any of those ones, that's where the problem mostly is. It's not with this. There's not that much that can happen with this wire. This cannot be that, you can't have that many serious problems with this here going bad. You're having the problems are with this here other connector, the female part where that plugs in. All right? Toys, if you're having problems with the eyes, this is a Snoopy. Same thing, just move the eye back and forth, take the jaw. Okay, this is before you have to cut into the thing. Move this back and forth, get the tension going real strong. Press real hard up against there so that you can get that motor to turn over. If you can get that motor just to turn just one time, then all of a sudden then it's just going to break loose where the brushes are going to turn, rotate back and forth real easy. That's all you need to do is just get that going, okay? But I just want to go ahead and review some of these sections. I know you may have been expecting a lot more out of this repair section, and I wish I had more to give you, but it's so hard to squeeze this all in. Also with my speech, as far as making sure that I'm being articulated enough when I go ahead and show you these parts. But that's one thing that is hard to, even if you have a wider vocabulary, no matter how you're speaking more fluently or whatever, it's still hard to get people to understand as far as different vocabulary words that's used for this. One person's saying this is a gear, some person's saying that this is a motor or something. They're using a different word for something else. So, and plus, most of you people are just housewives, men that, that's never dealt with electronics before, and this is all new to you also. But I hope by just visually showing you some of these little parts of what to do with these gears by moving them back and forth and getting familiar with this, that helps you out a little bit at least, okay? And also with that, I wanted to stress very strongly about people cutting into these animals so that we're not having these animals all stripped out. But if something was that you do, be sure, I mean to rattle off here, but be sure if you do have to cut into these things, go across the stitching here. Never cut the fur. Never cut the fur. Go across the little stitching here. It's a big looped stitch. The stitches are almost like a ½ inch apart, pulling this all together. Just cut that. Then way that all furry here is, when you go to pull that back together, it's all, you're not going to even notice that stitching there anyways. Okay? But don't cut into it unless you know that you can handle it. All right? And like I said, and here's this little electrical plug one more time. It has a changeable switch. This is the one, like I said, I got at Toys R Us. You see that real good. All right, pick up one of those. And I have one of the little plugs on here, even if you use those little gator clips that you can clip those on the back of your power. If that helps you. Alright. So like I said, I hope I didn't ramble on too much. I hope this camera isn't too close for you there, but it's kind of weird. Look at me. Boy, it's close enough, yeah. Anyways, I hope that we kept this video fun and educational and entertaining for you. Alright? Well, this is Tee Hupp, and I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. And I want to thank you very much for taking so much time to listen to us. And I hope this segment, especially this segment right here on repairs, was one of the hardest ones for me to discuss with you. But when we sit down and review some of this and prepare more, we are going to have a separate video on just repairs. And it might not even be me. Maybe I will be able to afford to pay a professional person to come here and tell you all the little lingo back and forth. All right? But as far as they're actually being a professional, even if you actually work for the company themselves, not everybody can tell you how to work all 60 different toys. If I got somebody that worked from Worlds of Wonder, somebody that worked from Ideals, they're going to know their product, but somebody else is not going to know the other one. So some of these little hints that I've told you are the same little type of factors that they're going to be telling you the same also. All right? Well, I want to say thank you again for so many of the people that sent me letters over the past 3 years. This has been a great enjoyment and really a fun hobby for us. We have a mailing list of over 600 people now, 600. So when you go to call, when you go to write, just remember, it's first come, first serve, and we'll try to get to each one of you as fast as we can. All right? You have a good day, and thank you very much.
It's now that time of day. The world will soon be sleeping, but there's a final game that we can play. It's kind of fun to do. It takes some good pretending. We close our eyes and then we drift away. In our airship in the sky, there are lots of destinations, and our imagination will take us there. In our airship in the sky, we will drift away so freely. We will realize we really haven't got a care. The password bag that pulls our airship high into the sky looks like the quilt that covers up your bed. It's round and kind of puffy and very, very soft, just like the pillow where you lay your head. We'll guide the ship so carefully between the coffee clouds and drift on every